Welcome to Quick Bite, your fast and friendly Florida insurance update.
Hello. This is Roshonda with the Isom agency group here in the sunshine state of Florida. Welcome back to another Quick Bite episode, your fast and informative insurance market update. Today is Friday, November 14th, 2025. It's Friday, it's Friday, it's Friday, it's Friday. And it's time for one of my favorite segments of the week, Free Friday. Every Friday, I answer a real question that came in from one of our customers, followers, or friends of the agency. These are the questions that make you stop and say, wait, how does that actually work? And today's question is one I hear all the time. If my friend borrows my car and crashes, whose insurance pays? Great question. And it's not as straightforward as most people think. So let's break it down step by step, Florida style. We actually got a call this week from a client. We will call, for this video purposes, we'll call Sharon from Winter Haven. Sharon said, Roshonda, my neighbor borrowed my car to run to Publix. She accidentally backed into another car in the parking lot. She has her own insurance. I've got mine. So whose policy pays for that? I love this question because it touches on something called permissive use, which determines whose insurance responds when someone other than you is behind the wheel. Here's the short answer. In Florida, car insurance usually follows the car, not the driver. That means if someone borrows your vehicle with your permission and causes an accident, your insurance is the one that pays first. Let's unpack that term a little bit. Permissive use simply means you gave someone permission to drive your vehicle. It doesn't have to be written, verbal permission counts. So if you hand your keys to your cousin and say, sure, go grab lunch, you've just given permissive use. Under most Florida auto policies, your coverage extends to that driver for occasional casual use. That means your liability, property damage, even collision coverage could apply just as if you were the one driving. The other person's insurance may only step in after as your policy limits are reached. So think of it this way. Your insurance goes first, theirs goes second if they have coverage. Now, because Florida is a no-fault state, things can get confusing. But remember, no fault coverage does not mean no one is at fault for the accident. It simply just means that for medical purposes, you have to go through your own no fault coverage first, no matter who's at fault for the accident. It does not absolve someone for being at fault for the accident. Florida's personal injury protection, or PIP, which is also considered your no fault coverage, always follows the person, not the car. That means your friend's own PIP will cover their medical bills if they're injured, regardless of who caused the accident, just as I was saying. But when it comes to liability, paying for damage to other people's vehicle or property, the coverage follows the car. So if your friend hits another vehicle, your policy is first to pay for the other driver's damages. Only after your limits are maxed out would your friend's policy possibly kick in as secondary coverage, or what we would consider excess coverage. Think of it like a two-layer safety net. Your policy catches the fall first, and your friend's coverage is the backup layer underneath. Let's make this more real with a few quick examples. Scenario 1, the fender bender. Your friend accidentally backs into another car at the grocery store. The damage is about $2,000. Your liability coverage pays for the other car's repairs, and your friend's insurance doesn't even come into play because your limits were high enough to cover the claim. Scenario 2, the major accident. Let's say your friend totals someone's vehicle while driving your car, and the total claim is $130,000. If your liability limits is $100,000, your policy pays first, and your friend's policy would cover the remaining $30,000 if they have sufficient coverage, or even if they even have a policy of their own. If neither policy covers the full amount, that's where things can get tricky because both you and your friend could be personally liable for the rest. Scenario 3, your friend gets hurt. If your friend is injured in the accident, again, from borrowing your car, their own personal injury protection pays up to $10,000 for medical expenses. Your insurance doesn't cover their medical bills unless you specifically carry bodily injury liability. They decide to pursue that coverage. So the bottom line, when you lend your car, you're also lending your insurance policy. I want to back up to that last scenario about the no fault coverage. This happens a lot where if your friend borrows your car, they get in an accident, they get hurt, and they don't want to call they're hurt. They don't want to call or put in a claim under their own insurance coverage. But by law, for no fault coverage, it follows the person. So if they have an active Florida policy or even lives with someone, that's where it can get even more dicey. If they live with someone that has an active policy, they can be considered a resident relative under that policy for no fault coverage. They have to file that claim first under their own policy for their medical expenses. It does not matter who's at fault. It does not matter they were not at fault. They weren't driving their car. They still have to file for their medical expenses under their policy first for their no fault PIP or personal injury protection coverage. Of course, there are exceptions. Your policy may not cover your friend in these situations. No permission. If your friend didn't actually have permission to drive your vehicle, meaning they took the car without asking, your insurance company can deny the claim. Excluded drivers. If your friend or anyone else is specifically listed as an excluded driver on your policy, they are not covered even if you hand them the keys. Business use. If your friend uses your car for business like delivering food or driving for Uber and your policy doesn't include commercial coverage, the claim could be denied. That's why it's always important to know not just who's driving your car, but how they're using it. Also, to kind of hit on this a little bit, sometimes people think that they didn't hand the keys to the person, but let's say you put the keys on a car hook and they're readily available to anyone. You didn't specifically give the person permission to drive the car, but the keys were readily accessible and they took the car. You could still be held liable under your policy. That claim may not get denied because you had the keys readily accessible for anyone to be able to drive the car, get the keys and drive the car. So that's kind of giving explicit permission then at that point. Like you didn't physically give it to the person, that you got permission to go to the store, but they were readily available for someone. So you got to be very careful. I've heard this one so many times. It's okay, my friend has full coverage. But full coverage doesn't mean full coverage for your car. It just means their car has comprehensive and collision protection. Their policy doesn't magically follow them to your vehicle unless they're listed on your policy. So even if your friend has great insurance, your policy still pays first and the claim still shows up under your name. Remember here, we don't like using that term full coverage. Make sure you go through what coverages your policy actually has. Don't just get caught up into that full coverage term. I don't like that term. Make sure your agent or insurance professional always explains to you what coverage specifically does your policy have. Let's be honest, even if your friend caused the accident, you'll likely see the impact since the claim is tied to your car and your policy. Your insurance rates could increase at renewal time. The company doesn't care who was driving, they care whose car was insured. So I always tell my clients, loan your car like you would loan cash. If you wouldn't hand someone $10,000 and expect it back tomorrow, maybe don't hand them your keys either. Here's my take. Loaning your car once in a while is fine. Life happens. But when you do, remember you're not just lending a vehicle, you're lending your insurance history. Florida's rules are clear. The insurance follows the car, not the driver. So be smart. Only lend your car to responsible insured drivers. Review your liability limits. $10,000 or $25,000 won't go very far in today's world. And if you're the one borrowing someone else's car, drive it like it's made of glass and return it with a full tank. That's all, folks. If you found this quick bite helpful, please like this video, share it with your friends, and drop a comment below with any insurance questions that you would like for me to address in a future episode. And I do have, again, a new scheduling update. From now on, new quick bites will drop Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern. As we're going into the holiday season, we're just going to do 3 times a week instead of 5 times a week. This video is for educational purposes only and should not be taken as legal, tax, or specific insurance advice. Please consult a licensed insurance professional about your unique situation. This is Roshonda with the Isom Insurance Group here in sunny Florida. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Stay safe out there. Bye.
Thank you for watching. Visit us at isomInsuranceGroup.com.